I think we can start doing it from Monday. Yeah. Yes. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Basically, the next task is this. Do you want me to read it or you'll go through it once? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Could you open that attachments? What he said, like I didn't
Yes.
all the things.
Yeah. Basically, this is the first attachment.
Okay. Could you explain me the problem statement? What is the problem statement here?
So actually, what he wants to build is he wants to us to build a new table. Like the new table consists of these many attributes, like from base profile 20 attributes, 5, 30, like with this all attributes 28. But before building a main table, he wants to build like views. Like with these 20 attributes, we need to build a view. With these 5 attributes, we need to build a view. With these 30, and so on. Like this, after building these 8 views, on top of this, we need to build a table with this all the columns. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. After building that, like today, if you say if you build with
Do
a single table
you
with all this,
do you understand the views and table concept?
yeah.
On top of views we create tables, or on top of table we will create the views?
Basically, on top of tables, we will create views.
Yeah, correct.
But can't we create like I have created views on top of tables, but I am not sure. Can't we create table on top of views?
No, view is the mirror on top of the table. Once we have the table,
Okay.
we can get the required attributes and create the views. But on top of view, we can't create the tables.
Okay. Like we cannot create a materialized view.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay,
But
we can create a
what is the
material.
database you want to use?
DB will use our Redshift.
Redshift. Okay, have you checked that whether we can create the materialized view?
Yeah, I think like we can, I guess, but
Okay, we will check on
he
that. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. First with this 20 attributes, he told us to create views like with these 5 attributes, one view, one view, one view. On top of that, he told me to create a table. Like after creating a table, then what we need to do is after building all the columns, we need to check like today. Suppose if you say like we got 100 records, this is the new data set. Consider we got 100 records. We need to send all these 100 records in a JSON file. Like he's mentioned it right here. Some additional points.
Okay.
So
May I
tomorrow
know like
consider
what is the
like
source here? Where you will receive the data through the Excel files?
source will be mostly in a Redshift only. We'll take from source tables. Like for this column, we will take from this Amperity customer. For these columns, we'll take from this table, Amperity customer 360 table. Like for this, we'll take from Konami.
Okay,
For few of them, we need to build the logic. But mostly our whole source will be from Redshift only.
okay,
Redshift tables.
okay. Source is Redshift, the
Yeah.
target is also Redshift.
Target mostly would be, yeah, target writing the table is like that's what after building the table, what we need to do is like consider I'm Ritvik, right? I'm Ritvik and like today two records are there. My address is say uh, India today and say state is Telangana. Tomorrow like same Ritvik column will come, right? But tomorrow if the address has changed from India to USA and state from Telangana to Texas, we need to send the changes.
No, I am asking what is your target database?
Target database also will write the table in Redshift only.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah. After that, this is the step we need to do. This is the big step we need to do.
okay. Could you repeat it again?
Yeah, like what he wants us is consider uh, like this is Ritvik and Shane. Wait, guest ID, name, location, state, location, Ghana. Sorry, India. This is 10. Like consider this is the data we got. Okay, today and tomorrow. Like for the same guest ID, for same name, we are getting USA and uh, and Texas. Like we should to compare this record and we need to send the changes. Like country has changed, right? For Ritvik, he like suggested to send this data in a JSON file and land it in S3.
Okay.
Yeah, like that for all the records, we need to check like what is changing from yesterday to today, and all these changes need to be sent in a JSON file. Like he asked me whether we can do it in a single JSON file or for each attribute we'll do a separate JSON file or how.
Now your target is S3 or Redshift?
Like table creation will be in Redshift, but that whole after that next step is S3 basically.
Okay, next step here is
Next step is loading the data into S3 only. Like see if you have gone through this, see
okay. Okay.
see
Let me give some time. The Excel file is on. One thing I understand here is like
Yeah,
the problem statement what you said is different. We are collecting, we are taking the data from the views from the redshift, and from the
yeah,
views we are loading the data into the S3 bucket. This is the thing.
yeah. But the views are also not there. We need to construct them also.
Okay, if views are not there, we can construct the views on top of the table, but in the starting what you said is totally different. What I understand is totally different here, what it is written is totally different. Okay. um, we no need to again no need to create a table in the redshift, like the target is not the redshift, the delta what we wrote it will be written into the S3 bucket.
Didn't get you. Can you let me know?
Like here where it is said that in this mail, where it is said that the target is in the S3 redshift.
Like for all these views should be constructed in views in Redshift.
It is saying that overall data set can be constructed from a series of views in a redshift. He is saying
Mm.
that data set can be constructed from the series of views that is already there.
Yeah, but the constructed data set also we need to create, right? It's like as a table or something that we need to we'll write in
No,
Redshift only, right?
tell me openly, like in the first task, whether you did it or someone else did it.
I only did it.
Okay, there you created a data frame, right?
Yes.
The data frame where you are storing the data frame.
After writing into data frame, I've written everything into my Redshift table.
No, here intermediately you are creating one data frame, right? Where that data frame
Yeah,
is storing.
that data frame will store in S3 path.
Can you show me that?
That is not there in this actually. But see, technically, I don't know all these details,
No,
but
no, Ritik.
I'm
Like
not
if you are
writing.
clear if what you know and what you don't know, then I can able to tell you what we can do that. But if you are saying like I know like because here you are saying like we need to create in the redshift, but if the statement I read here, no need to create anything in the redshift. We need to take the
Okay,
data from the redshift.
okay, okay. We'll take the data from Redshift and but see, as I told you, right? Like we need to. He said with these 20 attributes, we need to create a view. Like we need to create that views,
Where
right?
it is set, where it is written that 20
Yeah,
attributes.
I've discussed it with that with my team lead. That's what he said.
Okay, if we want to create the view, we can create that view. On top of which
Yeah,
tables we need to take that.
yeah. See, if consider this is the data set,
Okay,
right?
from the source.
This
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
It has
from the
been.
source, from Amperity 360, for all this till 22, these 20, with these 20 attributes, we need to create a view taking source from this.
Okay.
Yeah, next for these five, we need to create a view taking source like, see, we need to still, he's building on top of this. For gaming also, we need to take source from this. I need to be, like, we need to build a view. And next, all this like for all this category, for hotel category one, for non-gaming one, for loyalty one, valuation and offer. For all these nine, like total 8 or 9, we need to create views. And joining that, he said we can create one table or something on top of that. From that, like yesterday's data, today's data, we need to compare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, and we'll compare and see. For example, if Bob has three of his attributes change on Tuesday over Monday, we need to send those three to Brace. If Sally has 17 attributes change, we need to 17, and we need to complete records where attribute changes. Then if there is a new entry, we need to send all the attributes. Therefore, the delivery will be irregularly shaped. He wants whether we can send the data in a JSON file into a REST 3 bucket, or how he, like, he's open to discuss this as well.
Yeah, why I asked you means like be clear. Like if we don't know the solution, we can provide the solution. But if the problem statement itself is confusing, then it's difficult. Like as you said, materialized views and all those things. Here, those are not required as we discussed. Okay, because on top of the
Okay.
source, on top of the source is also provided. On top of that source, he has asked us to create the views. Okay, we can do that. It's a very simple process. We can do that by taking that views. These views will act as a source, and from this source we can check whether there are any deltas, and we can, if there is any deltas, we can store it into the S3. This is the simple problem statement. But in the starting you said that from the views again we need to create the table, that table like.
Yeah, because he wants one. Actually, instead of creating one big table on with 120 columns, he wants this to be first smaller chunks and a whole table with all this data. End goal is to create a table or a view. Like, he's open, like whether which is easier, whether a table or a view or materialized view, anything we can create. But we should have one table with all these columns, one table or view. Because this whole data, like this is whole considered as one table actually. This whole 150 columns.
Okay,
Yeah.
again you need to ask some of the questions. Like I am
Okay.
saying, because as you are aware of something about these all these things, if you are saying whether he wants to create a table or view, you should ask which one to create, whether it is a table or view, because you know the difference,
Mm.
right, between the table and view.
Yeah. What I asked is he told me that he wants this nine, like these pieces are there, like this base profile is this, right, like this. He told me to create nine views, and on top of that he told me to create a table, but I don't know that we cannot create a, table on top of you. But I'll check that whether he wants the small ones to be tables and on top of that view, or a views over views, or I'll ask that.
No, 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 no. uh, Understand it clearly. Here we are using the data frame. From the data frame we can do anything, but from these, if you want to have the views and write an SQL query to create the table, that's the different story. Here it's a different story. We are using the glue, right, on top of these
Yeah.
views.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the different
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
have you
this.
asked the what's the relation between these tables? Because if all these things should be in one table, have you asked? Because there should be some relation, right? If you are joining these things, have you asked what's the
Yeah.
relation?
Actually, all these tables are like what we call, these all are gaming related data basically. But relation, I think he also may not know exactly, because my team leader also joined 3 months ago only.
No, no, no. Like the simple thing, I have given you the data, like department number 10, department number 20, department name, HR, and department name again logistics, and the employee number 123 and employee number 456. I will ask, 456 employee works on which department? Can you say whether it's HR or logistics?
Oh.
Huh?
Like if it is which department, if department is mentioned, we can tell like which department.
Yeah, I have two tables, employee table and department table. I have the data like this.
Yeah.
department
Like
number.
if we have primary key and if we have department number here and there, we can join based on that and we can get
Yeah,
that.
that's what. If you are creating a table from this view, there should be some relation, right, between these views.
Okay. Okay. Like if say suppose first we are creating this whole view with these 22 columns, and then like for this 20 this second with here we have guest ID, but if we are not having guest ID on top of that, how we will join these views?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, that is the first question.
Mm,
And next one,
next one is like mm, you need to check like whether you can able to create the views on top of this thing. Can you able to access the redshift and all those things?
yeah, yeah, we can create the views. Mostly uh, like permission issues few are there, but even if I write the query, like if I give it to my TL, he will basically do that. He already done that for me.
Okay, okay. Creating views is not a big thing. You can anyone can create that. If you want to execute that views, check that whether you have the permissions or not. And
Yeah, yeah, we can execute like and we can query from the view that is there. Only writing mostly they are working on the permissions. That also we'll get.
directly without creating the views, also we can access the table. But the problem is, at the if there is more number of users are accessing that table, or if it is not available, then at that cases we will create the views for the data protection and the continuous availability of the data. That's the main
Mhm.
advantages of the views. Okay. Or if you can access directly the table, we can access the table and directly create the data frame on top of that, and we can join these things and create into the S3 bucket. And in the S3 bucket, he's asking us only to have the attributes that are changed. And if
Yeah.
yeah, and if in that case, like again we can't create the table on that particular JSON. We can create the table, but it will be an unstructured table we can create. Okay, that's another thing. It's not the structured table, because in the JSON file we don't have all the attributes, because one day we have the three attributes which got changed, and another day if it is seven attributes, only those seven will be there in that JSON. Okay, it is a unstructured
Okay.
data
Okay.
or
But can we
semi-structured.
write that in JSON like this? What you expected like after if there are any change in attributes in JSON, we can write and send them.
Yes, yes, yes.
Place in S3. And like if say if like today if change is there in Ritvik and change is there in Naveen also, like both will be in one JSON or two different JSONs we can write. In one JSON only we can write.
Sorry, could you repeat it?
Like in this case, like for Ritvik change is there. And like for Naveen also, like there are changes in country and state. Both these records will be in one JSON or two different JSONs.
Yeah, it will be in one JSON only, because we are creating a one JSON per day, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, for every record we can't.
Okay.
It's not feasible, right? For every record change to create one JSON file, it's not an
Yeah.
feasible solution.
Okay.
It will be in one JSON only, all the things.
Yeah.
In one JSON we have different elements.
Okay. I think Yeah, basically, first we need to get the what we call this relationship between the tables, right?
Yeah, a relationship between the table, and you can create, if the permissions are there, you can create on top of, if I see, for the trip there is no source. For the base profile the have given the source, but for the trip they didn't provide the what is the source for the trip. To create the view on trip, like trip view, like how you will create if the source is
Yeah,
not there.
like still he's still trying to build that.
Yeah.
Like he slowly want to start us this, and he wants like what we are facing issues like that,
Yeah,
and
meanwhile, for all the other things like the gaming, the base profile, you can create the views. The statement is very simple: create view, view name, and what are the attributes required. Mm, from where you are creating the view. Statement is very simple. You can create the views for the ones which are already all the data is there. Okay, as for the remaining the data is not there, then you can wait for that, and after that we can create a delta jsons on top of it by using the glue.
oh, and like what I need to suggest, like if you're creating views like this individual views, and for merging whole thing, what is the better one?
Yeah, if you want to merge the whole thing, like again here it will be, you need to ask another thing. Since you are not having the structured data in the json, like one day you will have only two columns, in another day you will have five columns, then in that type of data you can't join if it is a unstructured or semi structured
No,
data.
no, 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 Naveen. Like initially we will have data, but we the changes only we need to write into JSONs, right? After building table, we'll have today data. Tomorrow, once the data is coming, we'll check that and we'll write into JSON, right?
Yeah, we write into the json intermediate, like we
Uh,
don't require, we are not storing. If you want to store the table, we can store the table,
mm,
and if you don't want to store the table, we can just create the data frame on top of these views. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. The other thing is, like
Basically,
you said, right, in the initial you said like these data frame will be stored in the s3 bucket. Unless and until only the final data frame will be stored into the s3 bucket. If we write the statement like df dot write, we intentionally store that. Unless and until it won't store any data frame in any, anywhere,
interesting.
intermediate data frame in anywhere, Ritvik. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, yes. I think I'm not writing anything S3 in my previous glue jobs. I'm just storing it in a data frame and directly writing into Redshift.
Okay, okay. In that case, yeah, there is no S3 here. No need to talk about the S3, but you said right, like initially when I asked, it will be stored in the S3. So intermediate
Yeah,
data
yeah.
frame won't store in S3 bucket unless and until we write it into a S3. Okay.
Okay. Okay, then is this clear? We'll connect on Monday morning and we'll do this analysis, like how to this if we create separate view and separate view, this how to basically join these two views. All this analysis we'll do on Monday.
Yeah, you need to ask because what's the relation between the tables? You need to ask them, and then we can connect. And another thing is, you know, right, because you are already aware of DB to those things. So you know the create view statement, right?
Yeah, but I've, I have created small views, but with this big data I haven't created. So I think I in that case only I want help like from starting of this task. I think this task will take more time, right? At least 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know how much it will take.
Okay, Ritik.
Like because for some of these, if we need to identify the queries because they shared a few queries. 1 second. From that we can take see the few like he has discussion like we are discussion with some stakeholders. They have shared some queries from how they are like they bringing up that column. For example, if we need a column like for postal code, how they are taking like for local column, how they are doing this.
Okay.
Like in our also we'll have I think local something. Is that application was ended? Casino. Like here we'll have somewhere like these columns we need to consider bring that from their queries and see how they are doing, and we need to take that
Okay. For most of
like
the
these all.
things, okay, they didn't provide that. Is this SQLs related to the Excel data? Like,
Yeah, yeah, like few of the column will be related to Excel only. Like if you consider local, you see. Yeah, like Las Vegas geofence, they are considering like yesterday in discussion, what they said is Las Vegas geofence. They haven't finalized for this column, but for this, if they want Las Vegas geofence to be a local column, then we need to consider this local logic what they're using, like geo and as
okay,
like these statements we need to consider and take this logic.
here this is for the Geo one, right? But
Yeah.
there it is given for Las Vegas.
Yeah, mostly,
It
and
is,
they're
it
still
is the,
finalizing the columns.
it is okay. Geofence. Okay,
Geofence,
okay,
Las Vegas geofence.
okay, okay. So we need to design like this. How it is here. In the same manner, we need to write. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, Ritvik. Like on Monday, we will connect and try to create that uh, views. Okay. You have the access
yeah.
to the Redshift, right?
Yeah, I have the access with Redshift.
Okay, okay. We will do that. Okay.
Oh, give me like if you have 1 minute, let me check the access in Redshift also. Like it is there in my office laptop, but I haven't connected that with this. Give me 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah.
Like all the like what happened with the access is we have access, but something is overwriting all the accesses. Like if I tell my team lead that I have not have access, he'll grant me immediately. But they're still figuring it out why like our access are still going. That is work
You
in progress
can
actually.
share that your office laptop screen such that
Yeah,
we
I
will
can.
check once whether you have that access or not.
Yes, yes. Let I'm sharing. Like, for most of them we'll have, but for few of them, I don't know. Give me 1 minute. Let me show.
Because these are the DDL statements, the create, delete, and all those things. So sometimes they won't provide this create statement.
Can you see my screen? I have access for creating tables. I have created for views
Okay.
only. I I
If you
I
have
did not
the
have access actually.
no, if you have access to create table, then views it will be 90% you will have that access.
Yeah, like for few schemas, what happened is we have limited access. They did not give whole access. Like, however, we will create a new schema for this. Under that schema only, we will create all these. So I think we'll have full access for that.
Is this casino in Vegas?
Yeah, hotel plus casino.
Okay, okay.
Like, five-star hotel, like basically almost all hotels, five-star hotels, they have casinos inside that.
Okay. Can you write a new statement like create view?
Yeah, 1 second, it is connecting. Create view, I think I do not have access mostly because I have tried to create on see this one.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
this one I
I
am
I
also.
did not have access, but I've shared after writing this. I've shared it to my team lead. Like he has created that.
Okay, okay.
But create table I have there. Like these tables I have only created. Create tables. Now they are working, but after creating new schema, like he will somewhere he'll create like this new schema. He will grant us permissions to create the tables and use. If you
Okay.
are like building the logics, once we are started building the logics and all these things, he'll give us the access.
Yeah, the table like its a view is like similar way.
Similar,
You need
yeah.
to create whatever columns you required. Here you have written like C dot star, right? Instead of C
Yeah,
dot
like for
star.
all the columns from,
Yeah,
yeah,
you have only the 20 attributes you required. You can give all those 20 attributes. Okay.
yeah. Like basically,
Here C, the relation is given as amper TID. Okay. Hello.